Baseline should be created at the installation of any Windows server. And after we're into our Windows server, you can go into the Tools menu in Server Manager and open up Performance Monitor. Inside Performance Monitor, we can get what's called a baseline. A baseline tells us the types of resources that are being used by the server prior to deployment. Over time, this baseline will have what's called drift, and that basically means that anytime an additional application is added or any type of load is put on the server, you're going to notice that the resources don't have quite as much available as they did when it was first installed, and this is considered normal. However, in a cybersecurity type of posture, you want to make sure that there's no malware that could be causing these types of problems that go beyond just basic accepted drift. And we can do that by going into a couple of different places. First off, in Performance Monitor, this just gives you basic information about any particular counters that you would like to add in. And these counters can be hardware-based as well as software-based. But what we want to do here for the baseline is we want to go into what's called data collector sets. Now you can create a user-defined collector set, or you can use one of the very useful templates that are already here. And I like to use System Performance. Inside System Performance, you can see that there are multiple different counters that are included, such as processor performance, physical disk, network interfaces, all these different types of monitors. So what I can do is I can right-click and choose Start. Now what's going to happen is the data is going to be collected on these counters over time, and you could leave it for a few days, a couple of weeks, months, whatever it is that you like to do. But if you think there might be a malware outbreak, you may only want to go just about 10 minutes to an hour just to see how things are doing and how they compare to the original baseline. Now, once that's done, we can right-click on it and choose Stop. So it's going to stop collecting data from the server and all those different counters. And now I can right-click again and go to look at the latest report. And this is going to give me an idea of what's happening with my server. So if there is any type of malware, it will be a lot more obvious using this type of report when compared to the baseline that you had when you originally installed the server. So for instance, we can take a look at the CPU information. You can see utilization is at 16%. The disk is at 6 per second, which is the I/O. You want to have less than 100, as you see here. So if you're seeing a very high I/O, that could be a problem. And then memory, you can see, is just at 14%. The network is showing 0%, and that's a good sign. So if we're seeing 100% of the network, then that could mean that it's trying to blast out a virus or malware to other devices on the network. Here you can see the different processes, and this is another indication of whether or not you're having a problem with malware. You can see all the different amounts of bytes and what's using them, and that includes both the mean and the minimum as well as the maximum. We can also go down and see a drill down view of the processor and what's being used in each of those different counters, as well as processor user time by CPU. After going through each of these different areas, such as the network, disk, and memory, you can also take a look at the report statistics. This shows us information such as the computer name, the build of the operating system, which can be very important so you know what types of updates have been run on it and how old the operating system is, the processor speed, memory, and others. It could be that you're having a bottleneck because you don't have enough memory, and this type of report can give us that information as well. Baseline information is a good indicator of resource drift or indication of malware on a Windows server.